The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. You're acquainted, of course, with the game of chess. So absorbing a game of skill that Thomas Fuller wrote, "When a man's house is on fire, it's time to break off chess." If you play the game, you understand what he meant. Luck plays no part in it. Mistakes do, caused by the superior strategy of your opponent. You're attacked, you retreat, and form your defenses for the king. Can he be saved from checkmate? Life is like that, isn't it? Had Jeff Powers made a mistake, or had he been outmaneuvered? Tim Whalen, an insurance investigator, wants to know.
Is this the missing diamond, Jeff?
Where did you get that, Mr. Whalen?
From the bottom of your cigarette package.
Well, that's impossible.
Security at Mortley & Son is thorough and very tight.
Well, it should be. We're one of the biggest jewelry stores in the city, and a lot of gems have been stolen in the past few years. But I'm not the thief, Mr. Whalen. I swear before...
No need to. I know you're not Jeff. I also know who is. And I'm afraid it'll give you a bad turn.
Our mystery story, Your Move, Mr. Ellers, was written especially for Mystery Theater by Roy Windsor and stars Jack Grimes and Bobby Reddick. It is sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule, and Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
The standard engine is a V8. Standard tires, steel-belted radios. There are front and rear stabilizer bars, special springs and shock valving, fast ratio power steering, and a rally steering wheel. What makes all this interesting is that it belongs to a full-size, six-passenger Buick. The 1977 LeSabre Sport Coupe. You'll have to drive it to believe it.
Here in my hand is a little capsule. It's Contact. It contains enough cold medicine to help relieve cold symptoms caused by every known virus. Think about that the next time you're sick. Sneezing, dripping, all clogged up. Then let us help you with real medicine, like Contact. We're number one in the whole world.
Give your cold to Contact. Real medicine for real cold.
Take only as directed.
True Value Hardware Stores offer some very effective cold remedies that aren't capsules or tablets or syrups. These cold remedies are Arvin portable electric heaters. They're designed to raise the temperature in a cold room quickly without raising your heating bill. With an Arvin heater, you can warm just the room you want to warm without getting the rest of the house hot. These portable electric heaters are ideal for recreation rooms, workshops, laundry rooms, and enclosed porches. They give direct fan-forced warmth. All you do is set the thermostat. It turns the heater on and off at the heat level you set. And the safety switch automatically shuts off the heater if it tips over. This winter, get a very effective cold remedy for chilly rooms. An Arvin portable electric heater. Prices start at just $14.94 at participating True Value hardware stores.
True Value Hardware is more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that means True Value.
In many ways, life is like a game of chess. For instance, what else could be meant by putting your best foot forward? All of us try to do just that, appear at our best to others, evaluate the other person in advance so he doesn't think you're overly confident, arrogant. Again, to repeat, very much like a game of chess. You must think about your opponent because he's thinking about you, and one thoughtless move can be your ruin. Another costly gem has been stolen from the showroom of Maudley and Son. Gentle old Mr. Ellers is distressed.
This is terrible. Terrible, Mr. Whalen.
Well, my company is very upset.
Of course, it's understandable.
We may have to refuse to renew the insurance policy.
What? Maudley and Son is the most respected.
Yes. We realize that. But these unsolved thefts have cost us tens of thousands of dollars over the past few years. Your company has become a bad risk.
Yes, all of us are aware of that. I don't really know what to say. I've worked with the firm for 35 years. Proudly, our reputation... But we won't go into that. It's the times. Years ago, it was unthinkable that anyone would steal from us. Today,
an emerald worth $30,000 was stolen from a showcase. Your security officers swear that no outsider pocketed the gem. Now, they said that before. And they're honest men. We know, it's checked. The thief, Mr. Ellers, is an employee.
But how? Every one of us is thoroughly inspected before we leave the store. It's embarrassing but necessary. How? How is it done?
I'm still trying to find out.
You've talked with each of our employees, I know. I'll vouch for every one of them. So will Mr. Maudley and his son. Members of our staff are carefully screened. They're dedicated to our kind of work. They admire our product, appreciate the beauty and craftsmanship of our gems.
Yes, I've talked with each of them. Mr. Ellis, tell me about Jeff Powers.
You certainly don't suspect Jeff.
I suspect everyone.
But not Jeff. He's exceptional. I expect that young man to advance quickly in the firm. He's bright, direct, and personable.
Yes, I agree.
I'm very fond of him. We share an enthusiasm for chess. You mustn't suspect my chess companion.
I noticed the men set up on your side of the table.
Oh, Jeff and I often have a game at lunchtime over a sandwich and coffee. He's quite a good player. Chess is our hobby.
I enjoy the game, Mr. Ellis.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear it. We should play sometime. Jeff and I belong to Check and Mate, a private chess club. If you'd like to be my guest...
Well, thank you, whenever you're free.
Well, this Wednesday, I'll be at the club after dinner, say 9 o'clock.
Fine. And the address?
I'll write it down for you.
Well, these are fine big chess pieces. The classic Staunton kind. Wooden. I like their feel.
Here you are. It'll be a pleasure to see you, especially after this unpleasant morning. How do we solve the unsolvable?
Well, the stolen gems didn't fly away, Mr. Ellers. And none of the staff has an artificial limb.
Good heavens, you've thought of that.
And many other possibilities.
Such as...
Well, I think it's better if I keep my own counsel. Or I could turn you into a spy.
But I want to help.
I know that. Just be reassuring to everyone. Keep your eyes and ears open. Given time, the thief will give himself away.
He hasn't so far.
True. But we now have detailed information on everyone who works here. By a process of elimination, I've reduced the suspects to only a few.
Then you have made progress. I'll tell Mr. Maudley. He'll be pleased.
I've already told him. And he wasn't pleased at all.
Mr. Whalen.
Well, hello, Mr. Powers.
Well, that was some grilling you gave us this morning at the store. You're the last person I expected to see here.
Well, Mr. Ellers invited me to have a game with him at 9. I'm a little early. Are you playing?
No, I just finished. Mr. Ellis should be through pretty soon.
Who's the man he's playing with now?
Oh, it's an old pal of his, Will Minton. They're regular opponents. Minton's big on the Queen Gambit Decline opening, but Ellis defends well against anything. He's pretty tough.
Ellers and I talked about you and your chess games at lunch.
Oh, I see. Nothing else?
No, I'm not tailing you if that's what's got your back up.
I'm sorry, but all of us at Maudley's are pretty uptight.
Well, so am I. An insurance investigator is supposed to produce results.
Yeah, I understand. Where are you, or can't you say?
I think I have a clue.
Well, can I be of help? Oh, I don't mean spying on the others, but, I don't know, talking about the staff, my impressions. Isn't that kind of thing useful? Yeah, I know it is in books.
It's very useful. I appreciate your offer, Mr. Powers.
Make it Jeff. Huh?
Well, I'm Tim.
You know, it bugs me. It really does. Maudley is a fine firm, and these gem thefts kind of tarnish its reputation. Now, it has to be one of us employees, and that's creepy. I've thought about it, and I'm nowhere. You say you've got a clue. That beats me.
Well, it's my job. The thefts have been going on for years. And only today did I see a glimmer of light.
Oh?
I'd like to take you up on your offer to chat. What if I drop round after my game with your boss?
Well, sure. You, know where I live.
I know where everyone on the staff lives. What he does, spends, and many more things besides.
Okay, then I'll wait up for you. I'll say goodnight to Ellis. The game's over. Minton's laid his king on his side, and... yeah, there he is, bringing his captured pieces out of his pocket. Ellers is now ready for you. Come on.
I haven't seen that before.
What, Minton pocketing the pieces he's captured? He always does that with everyone. That's a little crazy. Evening, Mr. Ellers.
Jeff and Mr. Whalen. Mr. Whalen, Will Minton, my worthy though vanquished foe.
I'm glad to make your acquaintance.
Thanks. You playing this tricky old devil?
When you make a stupid mistake, Will, you say I'm tricky. Chess is the complete game, and luck plays no part in it. You're so impetuous, bullying and flailing away, but you don't intimidate me. I wait until you've overextended yourself, and then I strike.
I've been playing for 30 years, and I still have to listen to Edward Ellis' little sermons of chess truth. And then I strike. I ask you, is he far out?
Well, how about a game with me, Will?
That's an idea. One condition. If you win, which is unlikely. No 30-second sermons, agreed?
Absolutely. I've heard all of them. He hands me one at least twice a week.
There's nothing worse than losing a game of chess. Sit down, Mr. Whalen. Well, which hand do you choose? Here, my closed hands. The left. The white pieces. Let me turn the board around. There we are. Handsome, aren't they?
Some quite new. At least some of the pieces are.
Oh, they get hard use. The club replaces the worn or broken ones. All right, sir. Begin. Well. Pawn to king 4.
One more, Will?
Not tonight, young man. Bloodthirsty, aren't you?
Lucky.
You heard what Ellers said. Except for who picks the white pieces and begins, there's no luck in chess. I played like a dummy. By the way, who's the guy with Ellers? He introduced him as Tim Whalen. Prospective member?
Well, I don't know. Maybe. He's an insurance investigator. Did Mr. Ellis tell you about the latest at Maudley's?
Yeah. Someone copped an emerald for one of the showcases. Well, it's a big firm. Got to expect a loss now and then. Whalen give you a going over?
Oh, boy, me and everyone else. Mr. Ellis told me that our insurance may not be renewed. It's kind of a slur on Maudley, and you know how Mr. Ellis feels about the firm.
It's his life. What does Whalen say? Does he think he knows who pinched the emerald?
Oh, not yet, but he did say he had a clue.
He told you that?
Well, yeah, he wouldn't talk about it, naturally.
Naturally. Well, we all have our troubles. I'll see you another evening, Jeff.
Yeah, sure, and thanks for the game. Good night now.
By the way, Jeff, have you any idea who stole the emerald?
What?
Don't get that expression on your face. I know you didn't swipe it.
I should hope not. If I did, I'd report it.
That's why I asked the question. Don't.
Don't? Now, what's that supposed to mean?
Someone has a lot at stake. The thief. If he or she suspects that you or anyone else knows him, you could get wiped out.
What? You're not serious, Will.
But I am. Rather than risk exposure, the thief might act, so ignorance is bliss.
Hey, you are serious, aren't you?
Very. I know you like your job, but would you give up your life for Maudley and Son?
Hi. Come on in, Tim.
Thanks. Well, nice place. I won't take up much of your time.
Oh, that's all right. Please sit down. By the way, how'd you make out with Mr. Ellis?
Well, I'm proud to say I played him to a draw.
Hey, you must be good.
And he's a cautious player, but so am I. We both played well.
Well, I'd like to play a game with you sometime.
Well, we'll do it. I don't know quite how to begin.
Well, at the beginning, of course.
No, I think not. I'm going to make you angry.
Oh, you are? Why?
Because you're straight and loyal.
I don't get you.
What do you know about Will Minton?
Well, I'll be darned. I didn't expect a question like that.
Well, tell me what you know about him.
Well, I like him. He's rough, but he's bright. Will's in the import-export business, somewhere in the downtown area.
And he and Ellers are good friends.
Well, the best. Will's a chess bug, too. They've known each other for years.
Well, Will Minton has another hobby, which you wouldn't know anything about.
No, I don't know him well, personally.
He's a fence.
A receiver of stolen goods?
Receiver and disposer. The police know about him, and so do I.
How about that? So?
He specializes in stolen gems.
Oh, I see. So he's the clue you mentioned.
He doesn't know me, but I recognized him. Minton's well known for slick deals. Many a stolen gem finds its way into his hands and into Antwerp, where it's cut up. And so far, he hasn't been caught.
And you think he has the emerald stolen from Maudley's?
Yes.
Where did he get it? Who gave it to him? If you're thinking what I think you're thinking, I guess you've taken up all of your time.
Well, I haven't made an accusation, Jeff. Not yet.
Yes, but your inference is obvious. Edward Ellis. You're spaced out. Mr. Ellis is the most trusted employee at the firm. Forget it. I respect him and I love the old man. And he's not so old. He's not 60 yet. You can't suspect him. If you even hinted at it, both Mr. Maudley and his son would throw you out. You wouldn't have a chance to cancel the insurance. They'd cancel it.
Yeah, that's quite a speech. And now that you've got all that off your chest, you think you can listen to reason? You've made your statement. Can you listen to mine?
Loyalty is a virtue, but sometimes loyalty, like love, is blind. And if it isn't reciprocal, if a loyal person discovers that he has been deceived, he is stunned, angered, and filled with hatred. He feels diminished. Can we trust anyone? Of course. But Each of us, I'm sure, has experienced betrayal. And it's hard to believe, and it makes us angry. More on the subject when I return with Act 2.
Think of your True Value hardware store as a first aid station, the place to find help for disabled battery-operated devices. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you about Rayovac heavy-duty supercell batteries. They last far longer than their standard general-purpose batteries. In fact, they can last up to 2 times longer in most sizes. So they'll keep your camera, radio, tape recorder, calculator, toys, and all battery-operated devices working longer. And Rayovac backs all these heavy-duty supercells with their guarantee. If these batteries should leak and damage any device in which they're used, Rayovac will fix or replace that device free of charge. True Value hardware stores offer Rayovac heavy-duty supercells in a wide range of sizes. And they offer the 6-volt lantern battery, too, for just $1.69. Get help for disabled battery-operated devices. Rayovac heavy-duty supercell batteries from participating True Value hardware stores. Remember True Value, more than just a name, their way of doing business.
What is the Monkey Hustle?
Hey, brother, what it is?
It's a funny flick. I mean, a funny flick that's downright tasty.
Chicken, plucking.
It's booty kicking, knuckle busting action.
It better be a candy bar, nigga, because you pull it out and you sure gonna eat it.
It's dodging the man.
Hold it, you turkey. Let me show these suckers they can't mess with the black knife.
It's doing some good in the neighborhood.
Ripping off newspaper boxes is not our thing. Can you dig?
But most of all, the Monkey Hustle is.
You gotta get your righteous scam. Run it through 5 different ways on Sundays, making sure there ain't no holes in it. Then after you run it through 5 different ways, then you're ready to jump out on the street with your bad walk, your bad down dip. You're ready for the Monkey Hustle. Can you dig it?
Yaphet Kotto, Rudy Ray Moore, Rosalind Cash, and probably some people you know. The Monkey Hustle from AIP, rated PG.
All right.
Parental guidance suggested.
Second Smash Week now at the Roosevelt Theater, stayed near Washington. Midnight show every night.
He who filches from a person's good name and makes him poor indeed is a universal truth because it obtains every day in every walk of life. A rumor can ruin a man's business career, and a well-placed hint has destroyed marriages. And this viewpoint applies here. Jeff Powers is loyal to old Edward Ellers. Is that loyalty well-founded? It would seem to be. The insurance investigator Tim Whalen has, by inference, filched from the good name of Mr. Ellers because of his association with a man named Will Minton.
Hello. Yeah. All right, I'll be there. What's up? Judas, you don't dare. Not so soon after. How big? They'll go crazy. Police all over the place. Can't we wait a month or so? Jeff told me last night that Whalen has a clue. Yeah. Any idea what it could be? What? Jeff, you pin it on him? Yeah, it should work. And I'll meet you at the club. When? 8? Okay. Now remember, bring out the queen rook as soon as you can. Yes, I'll have it with me. Good luck.
Hi, Jeff. Oh, Mr. Whalen. Can I sell you anything? A string of matched pearls, the newest Swiss watch? Or do you want to hear that Mr. Helm over there across the aisle wears a vest and has been dropping jewels into it every time my back is turned? I have this mirror, you see.
Don't waste your sarcasm on me, Jeff. Are you still angry?
You're bad news.
I suspect you're in for a great big shock, Jeff.
I told you I just couldn't spy on Mr. Ellis. He's a friend. If he thought I was spying on him, he'd be horrified and hurt.
You played chess with him?
You know that.
You're playing in his office today at lunchtime.
Well, I guess so.
Well, enjoy yourself.
How can I with your lousy suspicion stuck in my mind?
Well, then you do share it, huh?
Neither, not at all, but you planted it in my mind, and it sits there.
Well, then do what I asked.
I can't. He'd wonder right away. I'm no good at being devious.
Now, what's devious about examining the chess pieces?
Well, I've never done it before. We play. I capture a piece and place it on the table next to the board and wait for his move. Now, how can I pick up the captured piece and turn it upside down and study it? You'll think I'm nuts.
Not if he's innocent. Well, you do what your conscience tells you to do. I'm sorry if I've distressed you, but my job is to arrest a jewel thief. I've got the accomplice pegged, and his very good friend is Edward Ellers. The natural conclusion...
Look, why don't you get lost?
Are you loyal to the firm or to Ellers? You want to protect one man at the expense of the others?
You have nothing on Ellers, and you know it. Confront him. Make your charge against him. Examine the chess pieces yourself. Why not?
If I show my hand too quickly, I'll come up with a blank.
Oh.
Don't you think that Ellers, as a chess player, has anticipated any move I might make? Well, of course he has. That's why I need your help. Now, it's your privilege to refuse. Then I'll have to work through Will Minton.
Well, you do that. I don't want any part of your dirty scheme.
Okay. Don't get caught on the switches.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, if Ellers feels that I've got a clue to the identity of the thief, he'll act.
I see. Ellers wonders about your interest in me, suspects that I might be dangerous, and some dark and gloomy night shoots me with a gun with a silencer. You know something, Tim? Except that all of this is so ugly, I find it funny.
Now, don't make that mistake. It isn't funny at all.
Very well played, Jeff. I congratulate you. You've been studying.
Oh, little. My end game is getting stronger, isn't it?
Oh, much. Very good defense. Good. I may say so again. What you must do is never to forget the cardinal rule of once attacked, once defended. You know that, but like Will, you sometimes become impetuous. I enjoyed our game. How about another cup of coffee?
Well, me too. I'll get them, Mr. Ellis.
Not only a good chess player, but a gentleman, too.
Well, I won't be but a minute.
Take your time. It's only 1 o'clock.
Hi. Have a good game?
Oh, no. You again. I told you to get lost, Tim.
Yes, I know. I'm hard of hearing.
Okay, now what?
Did you look at the pieces?
No, I did not. I'm on my way to get some coffee. You want a cup? We'll have it in Ella's office, and you can hold him while I search everything.
You going to be at check and mate tonight?
Don't tell me you're coming around again.
Yes, I think so. Careful with those cups. You're spilling.
I know what I'd like to do with them.
Thank you, Jeff. Just what I needed. By the way, was that Whalen out there? I thought I noticed him through my door.
Yeah, it was Whalen, all right. He's always out there. It seems he's driving all of us crazy.
Oh, dear. That's not right, is it? He's a very conscientious man. I know he's determined that this time he'll capture the thief, but I don't want him to harass the staff.
Where did I leave my cigarettes? Oh, the chess table. Excuse me, Mr. Ellis. You were saying?
I'll speak to Mr. Whalen. He's turned all of us inside out, and he's found nothing. I'll ask him to drop the investigation until he has a lead, and that may be never.
Well, he has some kind of clue.
Oh?
Well, he said so last night at check and mate.
Is that so? Well, that's encouraging. What is it, Jeff? Do you know?
No, sir.
You don't say that with much conviction.
Well, that's because I think he's talking to his hat. He thinks there's a thief and someone who disposes of what's stolen.
A fence?
As a matter of fact, yes. Do you know about that kind of thing? Fences?
Or every knowledgeable jeweler does. Would you believe that at one time Will Minton was such a man?
Will? Well, I thought he was in the import-export business.
He is, entirely. It was a very long time ago. Will's been my friend for over 25 years. Back in the early 50s, he was out of work. A man he'd gone to school with turned out to be a petty thief, borrowed money from Will in exchange for a stolen watch. Will sold it at a profit, and for a while he was in business.
I'd never guess.
Don't mention it. This is confidential, Jeff.
Oh, of course.
I take credit for making Will come to his senses. I helped him get started in the import-export business. You can be sure he's very glad that I did. The fence business is far behind him. He'd burn a hand before he'd handle stolen goods.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that. I knew Whalen was off his rocker.
Oh? He has his eye on Will?
I think so.
And I certainly will speak to Whalen. I don't want Will to have his past raked up and to be embarrassed by it. You know what that could do. Ruin his business. Let me see. 1:30. We'd better get back to work. Good game, Jeff. Thank you for the chat. I'll make quick work of Mr. Whalen. Good gracious.
Mr. Ellis, you know what that means?
What's gone?
Well, security says it's that Indian ruby worth $50,000. It's missing from Mr. Helm's showcase.
Helm? It's impossible. He's been framed.
All the same, every one of us will have to be searched.
This is an outrage.
Yeah, well, I sure agree. And only a day after the emerald disappeared. We'll have to go through a lie detector test.
Oh, that's humiliating. And think of the devil.
What are you doing here?
Oh, snooping around. I walked in just as the alarm went off.
We're sick and tired of your snooping, Mr. Whalen. I intend to recommend to Mr. Maudley that you be removed from your investigation. You haven't been very effective, and you've begun to harass the members of our staff.
You're right, Mr. Ellers. I have failed. I'll withdraw from the case.
And you'll also, I hope, withdraw your suspicions about Will Minton. He has a record, it's true, but he's been straight as an arrow ever since he went into business.
I told him, Tim.
Now, that's obvious. Now, that's what I call service. This is going to be a new experience for me. Along with everyone else, I'm going to be searched. Then maybe I'll be allowed to help the police.
Well, are you satisfied, Mr. Whalen?
Completely. Why are you so upset? Wouldn't you rather be searched by me than by a strange cop?
No matter who searches me, it's an indignity. Now, may I put my clothes on?
Yes, and then you may go. Are you next?
I'll go when I please, Mr. Whalen. Don't forget this is my office.
Okay, all right. Stick around. Now get going, Jeff. Down to the shorts. Give me your coat, then your trousers, socks, and shoes.
Okay, here's the coat. You better check inside the lining. I've got the ruby taped in there with a Band-Aid.
I don't think that hasn't been tried. The coat seems to be all right. Wallet, pen and pencil set, cigarettes in your handkerchief pocket.
Perhaps you should cut open each cigarette, Mr. Whalen. An ideal hiding place for a jewel.
Well, that's a thought.
Tim, for gosh sake.
No. Mr. Ellers has a very clever idea, but I'm not going to go through 15 cigarettes right now. Later.
You're going to keep the cigarettes?
Now, let's have the rest. Trousers, and then...
I know.
Absurd. Jeff, if you'll excuse me, I'll see you at the club.
Yes, sir.
All right. Put your clothes on.
Huh? Well, what about...
Forget your clothes. I have what I want. I want to examine those chess pieces.
So that's how you got to examine this. But the police are in on this.
Well, of course, we worked together. I told them about my hunch, and they said play it. I don't see anything here. Maybe that's good.
Well, just what are you looking for?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. If you knew what I'd found already, you'd go through the ceiling.
You found something?
If I hadn't, you'd be in jail.
Oh, you're really too much.
No. If these pieces are okay, where's the phony one? Jeff. No. I don't have to ask. You came out for coffee about 1 o'clock. Yeah, that's when it was done. But how? Jeff, give me a straight answer. Where do the employees hang their coats when they come to work?
Well, we've got lockers downstairs.
And the executives?
Well, we have closets in their offices. That's Ellers over there.
Now, wait a minute. He didn't wear a coat when he just left.
Yeah, but he brought one to work. I know that. I saw him wearing it when he went in to see Mr. Maudley at 5 o'clock. He was prepared to go home.
But I found the two of you in here just before the burglar alarm went off.
Well, Mr. Ellis came back to get some kind of report from Mr. Maudley. What's wrong with that?
Everything. So when he left a few minutes ago, he returned to Maudley's office and picked up his coat.
Well, sure, I suppose so.
I know so. And then he just slipped away into the traffic.
Well, sure.
Now, you still don't see it, do you? No, obviously you don't. When Ellers left the store, that ruby left with him. Will you trust me, Jeff?
Go ahead.
Invite me to check and mate tonight for a game of chess.
Well, okay.
I think I know how it's done. But I want to see for myself. And now I'd better alert the police.
It is only natural that men who are avid chess players carry their kind of thinking over into the game of life. So far, Mr. Ellers seems to be playing the white pieces and is the aggressor. Tim Whalen, several times over the years, has had to resign. This time, however, he seems to know his opponent's strategy. We'll find out more when I return shortly with Act 3.
The 1977 Buick Regal. It comes with Buick's terrific V6 engine. It carries 6 people and lots of Buick comfort. It's lean. It's maneuverable in city traffic. It's the most luxurious mid-sized car Buick builds. Yeah, this new Regal is pretty much everything a car should be, except for one thing. It isn't yours yet, but it can be. Just see your Buick dealer for a test drive soon.
I'm Billie Jean King. I want to talk about the United Nations Children's Fund. UNICEF's vital task is to prepare millions of today's children to become useful, productive adults in tomorrow's world. If the coming generations can be liberated from the poverty, disease, and ignorance that bind them, the world will be a better place. To help support UNICEF in its enormous job of protecting and training today's children for the challenges of the years to come. Write UNICEF, United Nations, New York 10017 for information.
It can't be proved medically, but it's a fact. Saving money improves your ears at Seaway Bank. That's right, you can get your choice of great music machines free and at a fraction of their retail cost when you deposit $500 or more in a new or existing Seaway savings account. Come on in and see the whole incredible selection. Super portable radios and 8-tracks that go anywhere, so you can take your kind of music with you. Great home stereo systems, too, for the big, full, grooving beat that your kind of tunes deserve. Get them now for doing what you ought to be doing anyway, and you know it, saving at Seaway National Bank. Seaway is the bank that's got all the others beat. It pays the highest interest allowed by law. It's as safe and secure as it can be, and it's right in your neighborhood. Now's the time to save at Seaway for sure, music lovers. They're playing your song. Seaway National Bank, 645 East 87th, Chicago. Member FDIC. This is WBBM Chicago.
There's a 13th century proverb, opportunity makes a thief. That's true enough, I'm sure, but it takes a certain kind of mentality in a man or woman to make stealing a career. I leave the explanation to the psychiatrists. Is a person born a thief, or do conditions make him resort to thievery? Under certain circumstances, even an honest man will steal. But what about our Mr. Ellers? Is he a thief? If so, why? And what about his reformed friend, Will Minton?
Why, Jeff.
Oh, hi. Well, you look as if you'd seen a ghost, Will. What's the matter?
Nothing. You surprised me, so.
Oh.
I thought you, all of you, would be stuck for hours with the police.
Oh, you heard the latest. How'd you find out? Was it on the news?
Why, Ellis told me. He called me at home. Said he might be late because of what happened.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah, in the game room. Just went in. I stopped at the bar here.
Is he all right?
Why shouldn't he be?
Well, he was very upset when he left his office. 2 thefts in 1 week.
The police found nothing?
No, and they made a thorough search. All of us had to strip, even Mr. Ellis.
I'll bet he liked that.
Yeah, not much. But he sure was angry with Whalen.
The insurance guy?
Mm.
You say, he searched Ellers?
And me. He said it was okay with the police.
Unusual. Well, I'll see you later.
Yeah, if I'm here. But how about a game, Will?
And not tonight. After I play Ellers, I have to run along. Some other time, thanks just the same.
Oh, sure. Have a good game.
Oh, Will, thank you. How thoughtful.
Guess who's here, Edward?
The ghost of Christmas past?
Jeff Powers.
That's so. Extraordinary.
That's how it struck me. What went wrong?
I don't know. Let's begin the game. Make a pretense. Play.
We better call it off.
Can't. We may not have another chance. I'll play the black pieces.
Jeff said that Whalen searched him and you.
Yes, a humiliating experience.
What about Whalen?
So, pawn to king 4.
Conventional. Well?
Whalen, persistent, but not much imagination. Jeff told me that Whalen has a clue. I doubt that. Let's not prolong this, Will. Surprise me in 15 minutes.
It is the Queen's Rook.
As prearranged, yes.
They're playing now?
In the game room.
Anyone else playing?
Well, 2 guys I haven't seen before. I don't know who they are.
Good.
That's a funny thing to say, Tim. You know, your cloak and dagger routine gives me a pain.
Well, of course it does. The kind of work I do is alien to most persons who essentially are trusting. I'm not, because I can't be. You should be able to understand that.
That's a lousy way to make a living.
Well, it's not much different than being a doctor.
Oh, come off it, Tim.
No, I'm serious. Crime is a disease. Without the police or a guy like me, you wouldn't sleep comfortably tonight.
Well, I won't anyway.
Oh, yes, you will. Because the case will be closed within a very few minutes.
You mean you know who's been stealing the gems?
Yep, and I intend to prove it.
Well, if you know who it is.
I want to catch the thief in the act.
You came here tonight to make the arrest?
No, I don't have the authority to arrest anyone. The police will make the arrest. I came here to watch Ellers and Will Minton play a game of chess.
You can't even see them from this bar area.
I realize that. I realized that earlier when I knew Ellers suspected I might have found the clue to the thefts. I wish you hadn't told him I'd found a clue. Until then, he thought I was just a bumbling amateur detective.
Well, he asked me.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. No great damage done. Only it did prevent me from watching for myself.
And what would you be watching for?
The transfer of that ruby from the thief to the fence. Ellers to Minton.
Well, how was it done? Do you know?
Yes. When a chess player captures a piece, he sets it down behind the chessboard. Not Minton.
Well, that's true. For some reason, he shoves the pieces into his pocket and... Tim.
You got it? Think about the number of new chessmen that replace old or broken ones here at the club. And then picture the chess set in Ella's office. Are all the pieces equally worn? Sometimes isn't there a new knight, king, or rook?
I see. It's genius.
Especially when the thief is the most trusted man in the firm.
Tim, you're not going to arrest him in the club.
Certainly not. It's a fine old club. You don't want it harmed by publicity, and neither do I. Now, there are 2 strangers in the game room right now. 2 plainclothesmen.
One of your plainclothesmen has just come out.
Yes, he's leaving. So is the other man. Well, they got what they wanted.
What are you doing here, Mr. Whalen?
Well, Jeff invited me.
Did he indeed? After what this man has put us through, Jeff, I should think you'd have better taste. May I buy you something from the bar, Jeff?
No, thank you, Mr. Ellers. I was about to leave.
You mean you and Whalen have already played?
No, we intend to, but Jeff's a bit depressed.
So am I.
Edward, I'll say goodnight. Busy day tomorrow.
My top coat...
I know which one it is, the Chesterfield.
That's right. Next to Jeff's reversible. You'll find the book about the end game in my left-hand coat pocket.
Thank you, Edward. Good night. Good night, Jeff.
If you'd like a game, Jeff.
No, sir. I really am kind of done in. I'll be getting along.
Very slow here tonight. Can't understand it. I'll see you in the morning.
Tim, when does the action begin?
By now, it may be over. Are you susceptible to colds?
Have you flipped?
Are you?
No. You're the weirdest gumshoe I ever heard of. Since when is my health a factor in who's got the $50,000 ruby?
I wanted to know because I'm pretty sure that your reversible topcoat has been appropriated.
You don't make any sense.
Ellers is a cagey player. He tipped off Will Minton to get rid of the chess piece. Now, Ellers missed once today. This was his second chance.
To do what?
Put you behind bars. While we're waiting in Captain O'Hara's office, I have a surprise for you, Jeff.
Swell.
Have a cigarette.
Yeah, but you don't smoke.
This your brand?
Yeah.
Well, the package is yours. I thought I'd return it.
Oh. Well, thanks.
Remove all the cigarettes.
Okay. Look, how long are we going to play games? I'm exhausted. I want to go home and hit the sack.
Now, tip the cigarette package upside down.
Okay.
And what do you find?
Hey, Tim, a diamond.
Good for you. It is a diamond. It's the one taken from Mr. Helm's showcase and placed in your cigarette package where it was supposed to be found.
No.
When you stepped out of Ellers' office for coffee, he slipped the diamond into the package. Remember his suggestion that I cut open the cigarettes? He said it in a very superior manner. But his intention was very clear. He was leading me by the nose to the stolen diamond.
Oh.
A diversion. If you had been found with the diamond, you'd also be suspected of having stolen the ruby. And that would have made it much simpler for Ellers to have left with it.
Mr. Ellis set out to frame me?
What else would you call it? You shocked?
Worse than that. Almost as bad as if my father had double-crossed me. Mr. Ellis taught me everything I know about the jewelry business. He's been my friend.
Quite a jolt to find out he's got sticky fingers.
Hey, you know something, Tim? You've talked pretty big for the last hour.
You want proof? Well, the police have it. That's why they let me use this office. I wanted to talk with you alone and uncover this planet evidence. Prepare you for the ugly truth about gentle, clever Mr. Edward Ellers. Now let me show you something else. Here. Examine it.
Well, it's a black rook. Where'd you get it?
From one of these strangers at your club.
The top?
That's right. Now examine the bottom of the chess piece.
So?
Bring a little pressure on the bottom with your thumb.
I'll be darned.
Understand?
It's hollowed out, and there's cotton in it.
And in the cotton was that stolen ruby.
It's incredible.
It sure is. That's why Ellis and Minton have made a fool of me for years. Yes? Fine, send him in.
You mean Mr. Ellis stole gems and hid them in one of the chess pieces?
Exactly. Then he'd substitute a new piece for the one with the false bottom. Walk out with a stolen piece and make another exchange at your chess club with Will Minton, a well-known fence.
But Mr. Ellis said that Will's been straight for over 20 years.
And you believe everything that Ellis says? Am I right?
Yes, I do.
Come in, Mr. Ellis.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Ellis and I have to finish the game. Don't we, Mr. Ellis?
Is this necessary, Mr. Whalen?
Don't you think you owe Jeff an apology?
He's disappointed in me, I feel certain, because I usually win. Oh, I see what you mean, because I took his reversible coat.
Which the police took, and in which they found this.
Those two strangers at the club. A move I overlooked. Will cautioned me, but I had to take a chance. One never should. You do well to remember that, Jeff.
This is unreal, Tim.
Just as a matter of curiosity, Mr. Whalen, may I ask what gave you a clue?
Two facts. First, as the firm's oldest and most trusted member, you were not suspect. Second, Will Minton's habit of stuffing captured chess pieces into his pocket. And, of course, the new chess pieces. A new black rook in your office set. A new black one here on the board where you and Minton played tonight. And then you overextended yourself about Jeff's cigarette package.
I underestimated you, I'm afraid. I've denied everything, of course.
Well, the police expected that, but you won't get away with it.
Will is a known fence. My reputation is sterling. You've recovered the ruby, and I assume Will was seen slipping the black rook into Jeff's reversible coat. So he'll do time in prison. I won't. There's no way you can prove that I had any connection with the theft.
What if you've already proven it yourself?
Don't speak in riddles, Mr. Whalen.
All right, how about this? Remember your conversation with Will before you began to play? Well, the police have that on tape, Mr. Ellers.
Have they really?
That's right. And we will, of course, check further into your financial status. You seem to be an affluent man. Where's your share of the sales returns? Banked in Antwerp? Probably. Easy to find out. Minton will supply it. Oh, your move, Mr. Ellers.
I have none.
Checkmate?
Checkmate.
The origin of chess is lost in obscurity. Its invention has been ascribed to the Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, Persians. Who originated it? We have a famous array ranging from King Solomon to Aristotle to the Brahmin Sissa and the celebrated Persian astronomer Shatranjah. The game never loses its appeal because its moves parallel our own in life. As Mr. Ellers found out. I shall return shortly.
15 minutes. It's a very short time. Not enough time to do much. You can't read a book or plant a garden or see a movie. But if your friend has had too much to drink, 15 minutes is plenty of time for him to get into a car and drive down a dark road and run into a tree or another car and die. In 15 minutes, your friend could be dead forever. Don't let that happen. Care for him. Do something. In the same short 15 minutes, you could save your friend's life. With a few cents worth of gas, you could drive him home safely, or you could put him into a cab. Take the time to care for a friend. 15 minutes. That's all it would take. If you don't take the time, if you let him drive and your friend dies, think of all the years and years you'll have to live with it. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. A public service message on behalf of the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Both Ellers and Minton, of course, were imprisoned for a very long time, where the former could ponder something Thomas Huxley wrote 100 years ago. He speaks of a chess player's opponent, and he says, "We know that his play is always fair, just, and patient. But also we know, to our cost, that he never overlooks a mistake or makes the smallest allowance for ignorance." And that pretty well describes our persistent insurance investigator, Tim Whalen. So, a small bow to him. Our cast included Jack Grimes, Bobby Reddick, Roger DeKoven, and Jackson Beck. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
That's my name. That's me.
You? Why,
That's my name. Harold Kenneth Starbright. That's who I am.
Well, obviously, it's a coincidence.
Harold Kenneth Starbright, born July 1st, 1937. That's my birthday.
Well,
Died. Look at that date. Look.
died March 15th, 1978.
March 15th, 1978? How's that possible?
I don't understand.
March 15th, 1978 hasn't happened yet. Is that what's going to happen to me?
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
CBS News follows on WBBM Chicago.
CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Dostoevsky defines man as a being who can get used to anything. But, he adds, don't ask us how we do it. Perhaps one of the hardest things for us to get used to is also one of the most obvious, that we are responsible beings who must accept the consequences of our actions. How hard it is to do that sometimes. Imagine, then, a situation where you are asked to accept the consequences of an action not of your making. And imagine further that it is a matter of life and death.
I've got to go to the police, Lucy.
You can't.
It's my duty as a citizen.
Well, what about your duty as my husband? Oh, if you go to the police, Langston's men will kill you.
Honey, if I don't go to the police, Langston's enemies will kill me.
Our mystery drama, Crossfire, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Percy Granger and stars Russell Horton. It is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores and Sign-Off, the sinus medicines. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
When you have a lot of surfaces to clean, grab your partner, Fantastic, the multi-surface spray cleaner. It cleans fiberglass, stainless steel, porcelain, plastic, enamel, vinyl, chrome. Fantastic spray cleaner. Clean surface after surface.
New from NBC TV. This Friday, the two hottest comedy hits, Different Strokes and Hello Larry, are back-to-back and laugh to laugh. Start off with Different Strokes. Willis threatens to move out to get more privacy. Then it's Hello Larry. Larry's X-rated radio show gets his daughter in hot water. Tune into Different Strokes. Then turn on to Hello Larry. They're two anything-but-average families. One anything-but-ordinary hour. On Comedy Night, Friday night, starting at 8, 7 o'clock Central and Mountain on...
You've got to go to Townsend Pontiac and buy a car. It's really important. It's important to you, and it's important to Mr. Townsend. Now, you could buy a beautiful new 79 Pontiac. Townsend has such a great selection, you won't have any trouble finding the car you want. Or you could buy a great new four-wheel drive International Scout. Boy, that'll take you where you've got to go and back again. Come on, it's important. Why? Well, Jack Townsend knows that once you're a Townsend customer, you wouldn't want to buy anywhere else. And that's important to Mr. Townsend.
Your satisfaction is our satisfaction at Townsend Pontiac.
6300 Broadway.
Townsend Pontiac.
Merrillville, Indiana.
The German philosopher Schopenhauer claimed that mankind was doomed to vacillate eternally between the two extremes of distress and boredom. That is an extremely pessimistic view of life, yet we must admit it contains a certain amount of truth. The central character in our story is a man named Frank Grove, and one might say that distress and boredom were occupational hazards in his profession, driving a cab in New York City. As we pick up his story on a fashionable side street in Midtown Manhattan, boredom has definitely had the upper hand on the evening. But, as they say, the night is still young.
Hello? Hey, mister.
Huh?
Are you taking fares?
Sure. Hop in.
Applaud your ability to sleep in all this traffic.
That's not too hard to do on a slow night. You're not from New York, huh?
No, Miami.
You won't take advantage of me, will you?
Well, not intentionally. Where to?
132 Clarkson Avenue.
Clarkson, that's in the Bronx.
Yes.
The South Bronx. It's not a very safe section of town.
Look, I've tried 3 drivers already, and none of them would take me there. I have to be there by 8:30. If you won't take me, just say so.
No. Just so long as you know what you're doing, all I have to know is where you're going. You, ever been up to this area of town before?
No.
You can see a lot of the buildings have been burned out and abandoned.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it was instinct.
Eh? What was?
Well, my decision to drive you up here. After a while in this line of work, you develop instincts about people. You have to if you want to avoid trouble.
And I struck you as a harmless type?
Oh, yeah, you could say it that way. Oh, no offense meant. I won't say it isn't strange, however. I mean, I think to myself, I'm not trying to pry, but I think to myself, what kind of business could this guy have up here? I pick him up in front of one of the classiest hotels in the city. He's wearing good clothes.
Look, isn't that Clarkson Street right up there ahead?
Oh, yeah. Hey, sorry, I guess I'm talking too much.
Oh, there's 132.
Hey, are you sure you got the right address? That building looks deserted.
How much do I owe you?
Oh, $8.35.
Oh.
What's the matter?
This is embarrassing. I don't have my wallet. I must have left it at the hotel.
You don't have any money on you?
No, only some change.
Look, mister, I normally don't do this, but if you want to write out a check, I'll...
Look, just wait here. I'll get some money from the person I've come to see.
Now, listen, it's all right. I'd rather not hang around. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a card with my address, and you can mail
Just
me...
hang on, okay? It'll only take a minute.
Hey, mister! On a slow night, everything goes wrong. Boy, this area looks the way Berlin must have after the war. Did you get the money okay?
Get us out of here quickly.
What?
Come on. Go. Move.
What's going on?
Take me back to the hotel where you picked me up.
Hey, mister, look, there's the matter of my...
Never mind that. Look, I got plenty of money.
Well, I thought you weren't carrying any cash.
Just get going.
Well, we're here, mister. This is where I picked you up, the Belleville Hotel.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's see, that was $8.35 for the trip up, $8.50 coming back, $16.85 altogether.
All right, here you go.
Oh, hey, this is a $100 bill. I can't change that.
That's the smallest bill I have.
In that whole wad there, you've got nothing smaller than 100?
I'm sorry.
Well, obviously, $16.85 isn't much to you, but to me, it's a lot. Look, I'll wait here while you get change in the hotel, okay?
Listen, may I ask you a question?
What?
This cab, do you own it, or is it part of a fleet?
Well, it's mine. I own it. Why?
So you keep your own hours, right?
Yeah. Look, mister...
when do you start work tomorrow?
3:30, it depends, whenever I feel like it.
All right. Tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, I want you to drive along 62nd Street between 1st and York. Now, there'll be a man in a long, dark overcoat walking along the south side of the street. You got it? He'll hail you. He'll identify himself as Mr. Meacham. I want you to pick him up and take him wherever he wishes to go.
No, thanks. Look, if you just change that bill...
I'm not asking this just as a favor. I'm prepared to make it worth your while.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm not asking any questions, okay? I don't know what's going on, and I don't want to know.
I won't change this bill.
What?
This $100 bill. It's yours.
$100?
The whole thing. And I'll see that my friend Meacham gives you the same.
Mister, is this something illegal?
4 o'clock tomorrow. Is it a deal?
Hey, I'm sorry, but I don't know what this is. You got to understand it from my position. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know what the consequences are.
Ignorance is bliss. And in this case, it's also $200.
Well, why me? Why does it have to be me? My cab.
The question of timing is very important. We have to know there'll be a cab available to Mr. Meacham at precisely 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, but getting a cab in this city isn't hard unless it's raining.
Well, then let's just say we're willing to pay $200 so we won't have to worry about the weather tomorrow. Now, no more questions, okay? $100. Is it a deal?
And another 100 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a deal.
Frank?
Oh, hi, honey.
Oh, why are you home so early tonight? Did you have a fair in the neighborhood?
No.
It's only 10 o'clock. Aren't you feeling well?
I gotta talk to you, Luce.
What's the matter?
I just made $100.
100? How?
That's just it. I don't know. I pick up this guy in Midtown, right?
Yeah.
Nice-looking businessman type, well-dressed. I mean, real well-dressed. And he asks me to take him to this address in the South Bronx. We get there. It's an abandoned tenement. And he's got no money.
No money?
Yeah, to pay for the cab. All I want to do is get out of there, but he insists on going inside to get money to pay me. Now, 5 seconds later, he runs out, jumps back in the cab, flashes a roll of $100 bills in my face, and tells me to step on it.
And he paid you $100?
Yeah. And tomorrow he wants me to drive down a particular street at a certain time and pick up some other guy he says will also give me $100.
What for?
Just to drive him wherever he wants to go.
Oh, you're not going to do it, are you? What is their plan to hurt you?
Why?
Well, you could identify the man you drove up there now, couldn't you?
Of course.
Well, that makes you a witness.
Hey, you're right, Luz. You know, I'm going to do what I should have done the minute I walked in the door. Call the police.
Oh, no.
They have to know about this. They have to check out that building.
No. We shouldn't get involved.
We are already involved, whether we like it or not. I took the guy up there. I accepted this $100 bill.
No, Frank, no, please, don't call him.
Now, we have to, Lucy. It's our responsibility as citizens. Operator, get me the police. Well, the officer I spoke to said they'd send up a patrol car right away to that address.
I heard you give him our name.
Well, of course. Well, what if they find something and they want to ask more questions? If I can be of any help to them, that's what I should do.
Well, and then what?
What?
If those crooks find out you went to the police, now what do you think they'll do?
Well, how do you know they're crooks?
Oh, Frank, something obviously happened in that building.
Okay, but how will they find out I called the police? Look, I just won't go pick up that man. Tomorrow it'll be all over. You'll get another cab, no big deal. And if the police don't find anything wrong up there, I'll get him myself and make us another $100 without having to worry or have a bad conscience, okay?
Okay.
And in any case, we're $100 richer. Nothing to worry about. Hey, let's get our coats and go down to the Tyrolean Gardens for a late-night dinner with some of this money, okay? Who could that be at this hour?
Frank, be careful. I'm scared.
Now, calm down. Yes?
You Frank Grove?
Yes, I am.
My name is Gilbert Stokes. This gentleman here is Jim Watson. We're with the police department.
You police?
Yes, ma'am. Detectives, plainclothes.
Oh.
What can I do for you?
You are a cab driver, is that right?
Yes.
You went to 132 Clarkson Street earlier this evening, eh?
Yeah.
About 8:30 to be exact?
Yeah. I remember the time because he was very definite about wanting to get there by exactly 8:30.
Who was very definite?
Well, the man we're talking about, the man I drove up there.
All right, let's go, Mr. Grove.
Well, my wife and I were about to go out to dinner. Do I have to come all the way down to the station?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Please don't get me wrong. I want to be all the help to you guys I can, but couldn't I just answer whatever questions you got here?
You don't seem to get it, Mr. Grove.
What do you mean?
A guy was killed at 132 Clarkson Street tonight, and we're taking you into custody on suspicion of first-degree murder.
A good conscience is the best pillow, goes an old proverb. If that is so, then Frank Grove shouldn't have a great deal to worry about. But then what what is so is not always clear. Who, for example, could have predicted this turn of events? Perhaps Frank Grove is involved in something and just doesn't know about it yet. I shall return shortly with Act Two.
Sinus flares up.
I'm clogged up, headaches, my whole face hurts. Help!
Send for Sign-Off.
Sign-Off helps relieve your pain, helps clear congestion, ease sinus pressure, and postnasal drip. Sign-Off does it all.
Send for Sign-Off.
And for the fastest known form of congestion relief, Sign-Off Spray. Sineoff.
Sign-Off.
The sinus medicines in the bright red box.
Is here.
For occasional use only as directed.
Maxwell House's coffee you can count on. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Maxwell House is
Good morning.
Maxwell House is
Good company.
good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Maxwell House. Coffee you can count on. Always smells good. Always tastes good. Always good to the last drop.
Maxwell House is
Good coffee.
good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Welcome to winter. Your hands are freezing, teeth are chattering, and your toes are vivid blue. Isn't it time you turned the tables on Old Man Winter? Give him the cold shoulder for a change. Take a Delta Dream vacation in warm and sunny Miami Beach. Think of it. You'll be dining in fancy restaurants, dancing the Charleston, the Hustle, even the Flamenco. You can yell at the racetrack or watch the stars come out at nightclubs. For 7 exciting nights, you'll drink up the sights and soak up the sun for 8 unforgettable days. All for $180 to $282 per person, double occupancy, plus Delta airfare. The price includes a room on the ocean, an Alamo rental car, a waterway cruise, snorkeling, tennis, and more. Rate depends on resort and date selected. For reservations, call your travel agent and put the heat on Old Man Winter on a Delta Dream vacation in Miami Beach. Delta is ready when you are.
Albert Einstein observed that everything is relative, depending on the vantage point from which it is viewed. From our point of view, Frank Grove is an innocent man. At most, he is guilty of taking a $100 bill from someone who might be involved in shady dealings. But from the point of view of the detectives on his doorstep, he is guilty of far more than that. Where does the truth lie?
Officer, you're making a mistake.
If so, we'll get it straightened out down at the police station.
Now, my husband isn't a murderer.
Well, he admits going to the address where the body was found. Is that right?
Well, yes, because I had a fare. Some guy asked me to drive him there, but I never even got out of the cab.
This guy you claim you drove. Tell me, where did you pick him up?
In Midtown?
Where?
In front of the Bellevue Hotel. I dropped him at the same place.
I see. Is he staying there?
Well, I couldn't say that for certain.
Oh, Frank.
No, I couldn't, really, honey, not for sure. I mean, I didn't actually see him come out of the hotel or go into it.
Do you know his name?
Well, why would he tell me his name?
I'm just checking, okay? Now, we got to cover all the angles. What do you look like?
Oh, he was very well dressed. Silk suit, good-looking shoes, nice
Do you
tie.
think you could identify him if you saw him again?
Oh, sure. I got a good look at him under the streetlight. And after he got back in the cab, he made me so nervous, I kept an eye on him in the rearview mirror.
Well, why did he make you nervous?
Well, 1 minute he said he didn't have any money. A few seconds later, he comes running out of that building. He had a whole fistful of bills.
The Bellevue Hotel. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, I remember. He said he was from out of town, Miami. You see, Lucy, there's no problem. They're just doing their job.
Well, I still don't think you should have gotten involved.
Involved? What do you mean?
Well, I just don't think he should have called the police at all.
Oh, you called the police? When?
Well, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. Isn't that why you're here?
Yeah. A patrol car in the area checked it out and radioed us to pick you up. That's all we know. So come on, let's go.
You're still going to arrest him?
Now, Lucy, there's nothing to worry about. I just got to cooperate with them.
They're not even listening to you. Why don't they go find this man from Miami?
Because, Mrs. Grove, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
exciting getting arrested when you know you're innocent. It's a chance to see how you fellas operate.
You think only innocent people get arrested, huh?
Oh, no. I just meant Hey, where are we going? There's the police station. You just passed it.
Yeah, that's right.
Where are you taking me?
Your wife had a good point, Mr. Grove. We ought to find your passenger.
Oh, so you do believe I took someone up there?
Oh, of course we do.
I don't get it.
You don't have to.
Who is it?
Police.
Well, what do you want now?
Mrs. Grove?
Yeah.
I'm Lieutenant Thompson, Homicide Division. Here's my ID.
Well?
I'd like to speak to your husband.
Yeah, if you want to speak to my husband, what are you doing here?
Excuse me. This is the home of Frank Grove, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he drives a cab by profession?
Yeah. Okay. How many times are we going to go through this?
Well, I'm sorry. Maybe your husband didn't tell you, but he called in this evening with a lead on some possible trouble at an uptown address.
Well, now, no kidding.
Well, we checked it out. He was right. We found a body. A man was murdered, and we'd like to get some further details from your husband about the passenger he said he drove up there.
Well, then why don't you just turn around and go back to the police headquarters?
I beg your pardon?
Well, that's where your men have taken him.
My men?
2 plainclothes detectives were here not 15 minutes ago.
And they took your husband?
They arrested him.
On what charge?
They claim he murdered that man.
Mrs. Grove, these 2 men, did you see their identification?
Well, they didn't show us any. Why?
I said, did they give their names?
Yeah. Gilbert Stokes and something Watson. I didn't get his first name.
Mrs. Grove, I don't know who those 2 men were, but they were not police. There's no one in our division by those names.
They weren't the police? Well, then who were they? And how did they know Frank went to that address tonight?
This is the place?
The Bellevue Hotel, yeah. I picked him up right out in front. Now, but I cannot say for a fact that he was staying here. I mean, he never actually said...
All right. We'll check it out. Hey, Watson.
Yes, boss?
You'd better go back out and stay with the car. It's in a no parking zone.
You mean you guys have to worry about getting tickets?
Yeah. Come on.
Well, I'll do my best, officer, but this is a big hotel. I don't even know this guy's name.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, may I help you?
Yeah, we're looking for someone who might be staying here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Grove, you're on.
Yes. Well, it's a man.
Mm-hmm.
He's about 6 feet tall.
Perhaps if you just told me his name.
I don't know his name, I'm sorry. But he was a very distinguished-looking guy.
Well, we have a lot of people staying with us, and we specialize in distinguished-looking people.
He was from Miami. He told me that.
All right, I suppose I can look down our register here. I only see one guest from Miami, Mr. Langston.
Langston?
Frederick Langston. He checked in earlier today.
Fine-boned, broad-shouldered, about 45, a bit gray at the temples.
Sir, I do not examine every guest.
Wearing a dark green silk suit?
Langston? Oh, yes. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
What room is he in?
Oh, room 212, but you won't find him in.
Well, why not?
Well, he was taken away about a half an hour ago by the police.
Get in, Grove.
You find him, boss?
The police got him.
The police? What for?
I don't know.
Look, can't we just go down to the station and get this all cleared up?
You shut up, Grove.
Yeah, but if the man we're looking for is already in custody...
Forget it, all right?
Sure, I'm sorry. I guess you fellas know what you're doing.
Yeah. Go on, beat it.
Huh?
Go on home.
Well, I thought I was under arrest.
Yeah, we don't need you anymore.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, maybe I could still help you.
How?
This Mr. Langston asked me to pick somebody up tomorrow afternoon.
Oh.
Somebody named Meacham. Does that name mean anything to you?
Where are you picking him up, huh?
Oh, on 62nd Street between York and 1st at 4 o'clock.
And then what?
Well, I'm just supposed to take him somewhere, but I don't know where. Langston said Meacham would tell me once he was in the cab. Langston gave me $100, which I guess I should have told you right away. I didn't mean to withhold evidence, but...
Will you just forget it? Just keep the money. This gives us a second chance, don't it, Watson?
Yeah, if we know where Meacham's going to be tomorrow.
No. He wouldn't cooperate with us. We'll let Mr. Grove here pick him up and lead us right to what we're after.
Hey, we can't let him go. Remember, he said he called the cops.
Shut up.
The cops will have been to his house by now. His wife will have figured out what's going on. What is going on?
Just relax, Grove.
Hey, you guys aren't cops at all, are you? Who are you? How did you know that I was the cab driver who drove that man up to Clarkson Street?
How do you think?
You must have been there. You got my cab number and then got my name and address from the dispatcher. You were inside that house. You're the guys Mr. Langston ran out to get away from, but then you must be the guys that murdered that man.
That's right, Mr. Grove.
What are you gonna do with me?
We're gonna let you go.
Hey, Stu!
Shut up, Watson. Mr. Grove here isn't gonna go to the police. Are you, Mr. Grove? Just bear with me for a minute, Mr. Grove. I'm gonna paint a picture for you. Now, Watson and I are what you might call agents. We work for what you might call a corporation.
You mean organized crime?
A corporation, Mr. Grove. All right? Now, we are after something, and you're going to help lead us to it by picking Meacham up tomorrow. And every time you have the itch to call the cops, just remember, we're just a couple of small chips on a very large iceberg.
Frank? Oh, Frank, you're home. Are you all right?
Yeah. The two detectives that arrested me, they realized they'd made a mistake, so they let me go.
Oh, you don't need to lie, Frank. I know the truth.
What?
I know those two men weren't police. Our real detective was here about an hour ago. Oh, I thought I might never see you alive again. How did you escape from them?
Well, they let me go.
Oh, thank the Lord it's over.
No, it's not. It would be if I hadn't opened my big, helpful mouth before I realized they weren't cops. See, I told them about this guy Meacham I'm supposed to pick up tomorrow. So now they're going to shadow me until they get what they're after.
Well, what are they after?
I don't know.
Oh, this poor Meacham. What do you think they'll do to him?
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're all a bunch of crooks.
Well, now, how do you know that?
Because the police, the real police, have taken Langston into custody.
Langston?
Oh, yeah, that's the guy I drove up to Clarkson Street in the first place, the start of all this trouble. When we got to the Belleville Hotel, the desk clerk told us the cops had just been there and taken him away. Obviously, I've gotten caught in a crossfire between two gangs. Langston must have been on his way to make a connection with the man Stokes and Watson murdered. He realized something had gone wrong and ducked out before they got him, too.
Frank, I'm scared. Are you going to call the police again?
No. No, I have had it being good citizen Frank. I'm going to pick up Meacham, take him wherever he wants to go, let him out, and get away as fast as I can. And let the lot of them fight it out over whatever it is they're after.
Morning, dear.
Oh, morning, Luce. I got breakfast on.
Oh, here's the morning paper. Oh, I'll take the vacuum out and clean the cab while the eggs are cooking.
Okay.
And don't you get so wrapped up with the paper you forget to keep an eye on the stove. Frank?
Huh? Oh, did the eggs burn?
Look what I found in the cab.
A velvet pouch. Where was it?
Stuffed down behind the back seat.
One of my customers must have dropped it.
Oh, look what's inside.
Diamonds? Diamonds. Oh, there must be dozens of them here. Look at the size. Honey, these must be worth a fortune.
What people are ashamed of usually makes a good story, says a character in one of F. Scott Fitzgerald's novels. And by the same token, what people try to hide can also make an interesting tale. Is it safe to assume that we have finally discovered the object of all the mystery? If so, Frank may not be as close to extricating himself from his unwilling involvement as he had thought. Of course, the big question is, what will he do? We'll find out when I return with Act 3.
Now, True Value hardware stores can help you add to your home workshop with quality cutting tools at very sharp prices. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you they offer dependable name-brand hand tools like the Master Mechanic 26-inch 8-point hand saw for just $347. This Master Mechanic saw features a hardened and tempered steel blade that's bevel filed and set for cleaner and easier cuts. Another sharp buy from True Value hardware stores is the Stanley Surform Shaver for just $1.77. It's more versatile than other types of planes because it can cut and shave rough wood, plastic, and metal, and do it faster and easier. And it's compact and flexible enough for shaving and finishing around tight corners and in those hard-to-reach spots. Get these and other quality name brand tools at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
True Value Hardware, it's more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that means True Value.
Hi, welcome back to Wild Olds in Libertyville.
Thank you.
How's the car you bought last week?
Oh, we love it, but that's not why we're here.
Oh?
We're here because you made such a great impression on my son.
I did?
Yes, and Skippy's decided he wants to be a wild old salesman.
Well, I'm flattered.
So could you talk to him? He'd be so tickled.
Oh, sure. Where's the little shaver?
He's hiding behind that cutlass. Skippy, come out and meet the nice wild old salesman.
Hello. My, you're a big little boy. I'm 6'4".
Tell the man why you want to be a wild old salesman.
I like the friendly, relaxed.
Speak up, Skippy.
I like the friendly, relaxed way you showed us the large selection of cars.
What else, Charlie?
Wild old salesmen don't use pressure or hype you. You can just take your time and look around.
Well, that's the way we do things here in Libertyville.
And he was so impressed with the free loaner cars available when you make an appointment for service. Well, it's true now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but you didn't have to tell them
Skippy,
about it.
did you always want to be a wild old salesman?
No, I used to want to be a cowboy.
Well, that explains the cowboy hat, holster, and six-shooter.
Called a bang-bang.
Well, I meant...
Skippy.
Well, that's what it's called.
Wild Olds in Libertyville, the beautiful place in the country.
WBBM Chicago News Radio 78.
How we respond to things is a fairly accurate yardstick for measuring who we are. Frank Grove has already demonstrated that by nature he is a law-abiding citizen, ready and willing to be as helpful to the authorities as he can. Lucy, his wife, has been somewhat less civic-minded, but then she may have something else on her mind, like staying alive.
Diamonds. Look, Lucy, look how they catch the morning light, how they reflect the sun. Have you ever seen anything so beautiful?
Frank, how did those diamonds get into your cab?
Of course. This must be it. This must be what all those guys are after.
Are you sure? I mean, couldn't someone have just dropped this by accident?
No, Langston was the only fare I took last night. It had to be him.
But you said he didn't even have any money on him until after he came out of that building.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he just said that so I'd be forced to wait for him. I never would have hung around that neighborhood otherwise, and he'd never have found another cab there, especially at night. So, these are what he was taking up there to deliver to that man who was murdered.
Then they must have slipped out of his pocket while you were driving him back to his hotel. Oh, and now he's been arrested.
You know something? I don't think he dropped them, Lucy.
Why not?
Well, this pouch is too bulky to have slipped down behind the seat by itself.
You mean you think he left them in your cab on purpose?
Yeah. And I think that's why I'm picking up this fellow Meacham this afternoon, so he can retrieve them. Langston must have suspected the police were onto him. That must be it. It had nothing to do with where I was supposed to take Meacham at all. The only thing that counted was that it was my cab he got into. And that's why it was worth $200 to him.
Well, what are we going to do?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should call the police again.
You can't. Not now. Not if Meacham knows you have these. I mean, you have to deliver them.
But it's stolen property, Lucy. It doesn't belong to them.
Well, we don't know that. Not for certain.
Well, it has to be. I mean, why else was Langston acting so furtively? Why else would the police arrest him? I don't think I have any choice.
Well, think what Meacham will do if he doesn't find them.
Honey, we have got to do what's right.
One man has already been killed, Frank. Look, let him pick up the diamonds and let us get out of this nightmare.
But what if that isn't the end of it? I mean, how do I know I'll be safe after Meacham has the diamonds? What if he has orders to kill me anyway?
Why?
What's the phrase they always use in the movies? I know too much. I can identify Langston. I can identify Meacham. Honey, these are desperate men. The police are obviously on to them. One side's already shown they're ready to kill for these little pieces of rock. Why not the other?
Well, it's not fair. It's not right that you should have gotten caught up in this.
But the fact is, I have got to go to the police. At least they can protect us.
Oh, from two mobs? How? Now, how are they going to protect us?
I don't know. One side knows I have the diamonds, is expecting me to deliver them. The other side doesn't know I have them, but is watching every move I make. Oh, maybe you're right. The least of all the evils is to put them back behind the seat where you found them, let Meacham pick them up, and just hope I'll be safe. I just hate the idea of helping that scum.
I know you do, dear, but it's not your fault. I mean, you can't help it.
Well, that doesn't matter. It's still breaking the law.
Look, you were ready to do it last night. I'll just pick Meacham up and take him wherever he wants to go, now you said.
Well, it was easier when I didn't know exactly what it was I'd be doing. Well, at least we got $100 out of it.
Oh. No.
What?
The eggs. They're burnt.
I'm not hungry.
Breakfast is ruined.
Who cares?
I do. Oh, Frank. Frank, I'm so frightened.
Hey, Lucy. Now, I'll be okay. Hey. What's this?
What?
Well, this picture in the morning paper. It's him.
Who?
Langston. The man I took up to Clarkson Street last night.
Huh?
There's a whole article on him.
Noted businessman seeks asylum. Businessman?
Frederick Langston, highly respected jeweler, has voluntarily placed himself in police custody prior to testimony he intends to give later this week to a grand jury. A grand jury investigating mob infiltration into the jewelry business.
Are you sure this is the same man?
Yeah, it says he's from Miami. Oh, that's where this guy was from. And the picture, I recognized him right off.
Oh, but if he's a businessman...
It says here he has documented evidence of such infiltration, that honest businessmen have had to conduct large-scale transactions in secret, and that even so, a number of jewelry dealers have been murdered.
The man in that building in the Bronx.
Yeah. So Meacham must have been a colleague of his.
Yeah.
Well, I've got nothing to worry about. Except...
What?
Well, I can't take these diamonds to him now. Stokes and Watson will be right behind me. Meacham will be robbed, or worse.
But if you don't...
Lucy, those guys are murderers. Who's that?
Oh, quick, get these diamonds out of sight. Okay.
Yes?
Mr. Grove?
Yes.
I'm Detective Lieutenant Thompson with the police department.
Oh.
I was here yesterday. Didn't your wife tell you?
Oh, Yes.
Well, she said you were abducted by two men posing as police detectives.
I was, yes.
Two men probably connected in some way with the dead man we discovered up in the Bronx. In response, I might remind you to your phone call.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me, they let you go, or did you escape?
They, let me go.
You all right?
Yes, thank you.
Well, why didn't you call us?
Oh, I'm sorry. I only just got home.
I see. Well, I came by to speak to your wife to see if she'd had any word from you. You may have seen it in the morning paper that a Mr. Langston has sought police protection.
Yes.
That was the man you drove up to the Clarkson Street address?
Yes, it was.
And the two men, the ones who abducted you?
Oh, I think they're the men you're after. I mean, I think they're the murderers. They wanted me to take them to the hotel where I dropped Langston off.
Well, obviously, we have to find them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me anything about them? What kind of car they were driving?
Well, it was dark. I didn't notice.
Well, did they drop any clues about where they might be?
No. When they found that Mr. Langston had been taken away by the police, they just let me go.
And they said nothing?
Only that I wasn't any more use to them.
I see. Well, thank you.
I hope you don't think I'm withholding evidence.
No. I'm sure you're being of all the help you can be. Good day, Mr. Grove.
Thank you, Frank.
I'm a coward.
No, you're not.
I should have told him the whole truth.
Why? It's none of our business.
Now, honey, an innocent man might get hurt.
Well, we never asked to get involved. Innocent? They're no more innocent than those crooks, using you for their business transactions, off which they'll turn a very nice profit, thank you very much. Langston had no right to involve you this way, against your knowledge. You could have been hurt. You still can be.
I know. I'll just put the diamonds back in the cab.
Taxi!
Are you Mr. Meacham?
Yes. May I get in?
Sure.
Well, you're right on time, thanks.
Your friend last night said I was supposed to take you somewhere.
Yes. Just start driving, if you would, please. I'll give you directions in a moment. Suppose you're wondering what this is all about.
Well, Mr. Langston said I wasn't supposed to ask any questions.
How did you know his name?
What?
Has something gone wrong?
No. I saw it in the morning paper.
Oh. So you know what business we're in, anyway. Why we're having to be so cloak and dagger, as it were.
Where to?
Pardon?
Where am I supposed to take you?
Oh, well, as it turns out, it doesn't really matter. Right around this corner here will be fine.
Well, are you sure we're off the main avenue here?
Isn't that all right?
Well, sure. It's just that there's not very many people on these side streets.
No, but I don't see what difference that makes. Now, I believe the price you agreed upon with my colleague was $200? Was it more?
No. 200.
Of which you've already been paid 100, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, then, here's the other 100, Mr. Grove.
How did you know my name?
Well, that's what it says on your taxi license there on the dashboard.
Oh, yeah.
Look here, are you sure everything's all right?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here's your money. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
Wait. Don't get out. Shut the door.
What's the matter?
We're being followed.
By whom?
The two men who murdered that guy last night up on Clarkson Street. The one Mr. Langston was supposed to meet.
Well, that was Mr. Glover, my partner. Look here, are you sure we're being followed? How do you know?
Now, it's too long to try and explain now, but I know what's going on, Mr. Meacham. My wife discovered the diamonds, the ones you just picked up.
Do you know which car it is that's following us?
The white sedan behind us on the corner.
Oh, what can we do? If I get out of this cab now, I'm a dead man.
They threatened me if I tried to double-cross them. That's why I had to pick you up.
I'm sorry, Mr. Grove. The problem was ours. We never should have gotten you involved.
Now, listen, I can put a call in to our dispatcher from the cab here and have him notify the police.
No. You've taken enough risks already. Besides, it's too late. Look, they're getting out of their car. They're coming toward us. Is there anything we can do?
Nothing. This is a dead-end street.
Good. I'll give them the diamonds, Mr. Grove. Hope that'll satisfy them.
Grove? What's going on here? You two having some kind of powwow?
No.
Does this Meacham? Please, I know what it is you're after. If I give them to you, will you let us go?
Well, of course.
Well, then, here they are. And if they're cut properly, there should be $250,000 worth of diamonds there.
Hey, thanks. Well, that was easy. Hey, Watson? Do you have the silencer on your gun?
You said you wouldn't harm us.
Did I? Well, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Watson? Hey, what's that?
Cops coming down the street.
Quick, get back to the car.
They cut us off. We're trapped.
Drop it! Drop the gun! Hold it right there, the both of you!
Lucy?
Frank? Oh, Frank. Are you all right? Did the police get there in time?
Ooh, just barely. Lieutenant Thompson said it was you who called them, right?
Yeah. I told him where you were meeting Mr. Meacham.
Boy, you saved our lives. Honey, what made you change your mind?
Oh, well, after you left, I read the newspaper article on Mr. Langston again. And I thought, if he's not afraid to testify against those mobsters, then we shouldn't be afraid either.
Lieutenant Thompson told me that Langston's testimony will create enough publicity that we won't have to fear reprisals. Hey, what's this?
What?
How come you're all dressed up?
Oh, well, in case you'd forgotten, you asked me to go out to dinner last night.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll all come back to me, while I'm changing into my suit.
Our actions, even our best deeds, are rarely heroic. But then, so often the situations in which we find ourselves are complex and enigmatic. The lines between right and wrong are clouded and uncertain, except in retrospect. Perhaps the one general statement we can make about ethics is that a good person is one who will stumble more often into the right than the wrong. I shall return in a moment with a final word.
New from NBC TV. This Friday, the two hottest comedy hits, Different Strokes and Hello, Larry, are back-to-back and laugh to laugh. Start off with Different Strokes. Willis threatens to move out to get more privacy. Then it's Hello, Larry. Larry's X-rated radio show gets his daughter in hot water. Tune in to Different Strokes and turn on to Hello, Larry. They're two anything-but-average families. One anything-but-ordinary hour on Comedy Night, Friday night, starting at 8, 7 o'clock Central and Mountain on NBC.
Some people think fastening seatbelts and wearing helmets are for sissies. They may be the same people who think epilepsy has to be inherited. It doesn't. Or that it's a disease. It isn't. Or that it just happens to other people. It doesn't. For example, severe head injuries suffered in auto accidents are a major cause of epilepsy in adults. Now that you know it can happen to anyone at any time, don't you think you should learn more about epilepsy? Contact your local epilepsy chapter or write EFA, Washington 20036.
To know what is right and to be afraid, and yet to act upon your knowledge, that is the mark of a great person. So wrote the French man of letters, André Gide. It is interesting to realize that as Frank and Lucy Grove struggled with the dilemma that confronted them, not once did either suggest they simply take the diamonds for themselves. How many of you can say that thought never crossed your mind either? Our cast included Russell Horton, Ann Williams, Court Benson, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Now, maybe I haven't got it all quite right, but that was the sense of it. And the part about the god Hermes and how to ask the question, then put your hands over your ears tight, and leave the bar, I mean the shrine. Then take your hands away and listen to the first thing you hear anybody say. No matter what they said, no matter who they were, that would be the answer to your question.
Just sit right there. That's the statue of Hermes, huh? All right, that's it. You just put your little hand on his foot and you sit right there while I tell the chef. Nice chicken sandwich, all white meat, okay? Okay. Just sit there. I'll be right back.
Oh, Hermes. I hope I've done the right thing. It's so hard to tell sometimes. Have I done the right thing this time?
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Sign-Off, the Sinus Medicines, and True Value Hardware Stores. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Yes, clearing the streets. The snow's been heavy, and many drivers haven't been able to move their cars. However, Bay Furniture is giving you an incredible motivation to dig out your cars, clear the streets, and get to the Bay Furniture store nearest you. Due to the snow, many of our customers have been left out in the cold, missing our biggest January sale ever. And so we're continuing our sale through February 25th. Bay Furniture offers top quality and the lowest prices you can get anywhere. And Bay will pay your sales tax. Indiana residents receive an additional 5% discount. The Bay treasure chests are still packed, and there's no purchase necessary. If you've lost your key, pick one up at the Bay store nearest you and see if you've won. Bay Furniture in Homewood at 18150 Halstead or in Lincolnwood at 6798 North Lincoln. We've extended our biggest sale ever through February 25th. So join the people who are getting their cars off the street and into Bay Furniture. Bay Furniture. We offer the furnishing touches which help to make a home distinctively yours.
CBS News. New Orleans police have said no to a city proposal to end their strike. This is Doug Poling reporting on the CBS radio network. The police turned down the city's plan and voted to continue the 7-day walkout through the rest of the Mardi Gras season. Union official Jack Valenti criticized the city's stand and the position of New Orleans Mayor Ernest Morial.
We were totally surprised. We thought that the situation would make a turn. We thought that our proposal, as reduced as our proposal is, that would cause him to come towards us a little bit. It has not caused him to do anything except do what he's been doing for the last 2 weeks, and that is setting us up in a deliberate attempt to destroy this police officer's organization.
The police said the city made no offer except an additional $25 in uniform allowance and only limited amnesty for the strikers. The police walkout has resulted in cancellation of the big parades during Mardi Gras season in New Orleans. More news in a moment.
The Wall Street Journal stands alone. No daily publication matches the complete wall-to-wall business coverage it offers. That's why people at the top read the Journal every day. In recent issues, the Journal examined which graduates are the most likely to succeed. The Journal found that today, petroleum engineers are the big men off the campus, the highest paid graduates. The Journal also covered the casino industry's latest winning streak, how big lenders are standing in line to ante up construction money. Other Journal stories covered the rising cost of beef that has stampeded shoppers to the stores, and an investing theory that suggests the way to beat the market is not by picking winners, but by avoiding losers. All the business news you need when you need it. Subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Right now, you can get 20 weeks of the journal. That's 100 copies for only $22. A real money-saving offer. So call this toll-free number now. 800-228-2222. That's 800-228-2222, except in Nebraska. You'll be billed later.
Vietnam claims that China has stepped up its invasion in an attempt to capture key positions deep inside the country. Radio Hanoi says fierce fighting is going on in 2 northeastern provinces. A correspondent for a Japanese communist newspaper says Chinese troops were digging in 17 miles south of the border after overrunning a provincial capital. In its Friday editions, the New York Times says Russia appears to have begun an airlift of military supplies to Vietnam, involving 4 of the Soviet Union's largest cargo planes. The Times also says a Soviet delegation, presumably military, has left for Hanoi. Air turbulence resulted in several injuries Thursday for passengers aboard Alaska Airlines Flight 62 from Anchorage to Juneau. A report from Jeff Ryder of station KJNO in Juneau.
That Alaska Airlines spokesman says the aircraft was at 33,000 feet when it encountered severe turbulence. John Weaver from North Palm Beach, Florida, was a passenger on the flight.
Well, I hit the top of the airplane with my head, and I ended up in the seat behind me. And Cindy, this girl here, landed in the seat behind her, and she hit her head, too. Most people seem to be complaining of back and neck injuries.
Injured in the incident were the 5 crew members on the plane, 6 children on the Dolphin swim team from Anchorage, 3 tour agents on a familiarization tour of Alaska, and 2 other persons. The aircraft was carrying 106 passengers, 3 pilots, and a 5-member crew. Jeff Ryder for CBS News in Juneau, Alaska.
New charges have been filed against Billy Saul Estes, the Texas promoter who went to jail for a multi-million-dollar fertilizer tank fraud in the 60s. This time, Estes is accused of mail fraud, income tax evasion, interstate transportation of stolen property, and concealing assets. Federal prosecutors claim Estes and others operated a fraudulent oil field stem cleaner rental operation. The AFL-CIO says it will file suit in federal court to challenge President Carter's voluntary wage price guidelines. President George Meany says the Labor Federation objects to the government plan to impose sanctions against companies that fail to adhere to wage limits. Federal Reserve Board Chairman G. William Miller says he doubts we're going to have a recession this year, but Miller told Congress on Thursday if we do get one, his agency will try to lessen the impact. Now this.
Maxwell House is coffee you can count on. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Maxwell House is
good morning.
Maxwell House is
Good company.
good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Maxwell House. Coffee you can count on. Always smells good. Always tastes good. Always good to the last drop.
Maxwell House is
Good coffee.
good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
When you have a lot of surfaces to clean, grab your partner. Fantastic, the multi-surface spray cleaner. It cleans fiberglass, stainless steel, porcelain, plastic, enamel, vinyl, chrome. Fantastic spray cleaner. Clean surface after surface.
A cherished asset in many communities across the nation will have to go the way of the horse and buggy if new rules proposed by the Department of Energy take effect. The department wants to ban the installation of new outdoor gas lights and prohibit local utilities from supplying fuel to most existing gas lights after 1982. The energy crisis is the reason for the department's proposal. It claims banning gas lights will save the equivalent of 13,000 barrels of oil per day. This is Doug Poling, CBS News.
First in news, we're CBS, News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
Good evening. Al Clark here at the anchor desk instead of Alan Bickley. Gerhard Steffen is our technician in this half hour of news. Harold Rogalski, our producer. And the writer of record is Don Schubel.